South Korean President Yoon declared martial law on this country, but lifted it after it was rejected by the parliament. And the million dollar question is, what's going on here? Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the South Korean President Yoon declaring martial law on the country, but lifting it right after parliament said, no, we're not going to do that. They rejected the measure. Now, the reason in part why the country was put under martial law is because there were some allegations of parliament working with North Korea. Now, I'm not quite sure if that's the entire parliament, if it's a few people, but it's enough. It was a national security risk. We're going to put the country under martial law. Now, what is martial law? Basically, the normal rights you have in the country, your normal everyday things you are allowed to do. Well, under martial law, not quite so much. Okay, normally you get up in the morning, go to work, leave your house, do what you want to do. But under martial law, you might not be able to do that. It's kind of similar to what China did under C-19, where you were being welded inside your home to, quote unquote, stop the spread. That's kind of like martial law. Your normal rights are suspended for the security of the nation. All right. Now, we got a lot to get through to figure out what's really going on here. Of course, there's been protests. There's been a whole lot going on. Why was there allegation made about the government working with North Korea? And it had to have been something pretty credible to put the entire nation under martial law. But it's kind of confusing because that same parliament rejected it. Anyway, let's go. Articles, videos, everything will be in the description box. Also, link in the bio. Go to the corresponding article on the website if you want to read along with me that way. But we see what's happening here. We got a New York Times article. Okay, South Korean president backs down from martial law order. President Yoon Suk Yeol, hopefully I said that right and didn't butcher it too much, said he would pull the order hours after South Korea's National Assembly voted to halt it. Thousands of protesters took to the streets in Seoul demanding that the president resign. Okay, so we got a few people out there, but there were a lot more people in the streets than that. All right, we're going to put that over there for now. Here we have a video of some protesters in the street getting a little bit active. Let's go ahead and play that right quick. Oh, we got guns. Okay, South Korea, look at this here. Look at that beauty. And the caption right here says, South Korea's president says to lift this declaration of martial law after lawmakers voted to block the order. And then another one says, South Korea's parliament, including members of the president's own party, voted to end martial law 190 to 0. 190 to 0. So if the allegation is that the government is corrupt and working with the other side, with North Korea, then why did nobody in parliament vote to maintain martial law? Why did the president jump out the window like that? He has no support at all from parliament. I'm kind of confused here. All right, I'm a little confused, but it says by law, South Korea's president is required to comply with parliament's vote. So we see the protesters right there. I'm gonna just turn that sound off and play it in the background. But we see a lot of protesters coming in. All right. That's the president right there. Yoon Suk Yeol said he made the move due to opposition parties that had made the nation vulnerable to North Korean communist forces. Now, what does that really mean? He won't be specific, of course, because you don't want to give that away. That might be pretty sensitive information. All right. And then they had him talking, but of course, it would be in Korean. It said, this is an unavoidable step to protect the freedoms and safety of the people. And then what else we got here? As well as to ensure the nation's sustainability and security against anti-state forces. I mean, it seems pretty serious because why do all this if it's not? And he says the forces are attempting to overthrow our system. All right, that's a pretty serious allegation. Let's get to a news clip here. Stateside, ABC News. Again, I will link to everything in the box so you can see it and hear it without my commentary. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Well, South Korea's president declares martial law. The parliament tries to block it. Now the country's seen as a beacon of democracy in the East.
Now, she says the parliament tries to block it, but I just read to you guys that the president must abide by parliament's order. So I read just now that he backed down. So I'm not quite sure why they would say tries. Maybe they didn't get the information before they made this video. I'm not really sure.
East is is in a state of serious unrest, and the White House says the U.S. is seriously concerned. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kira Phillips. Protesters and police clash after President Yoon Suk Yeol makes accusations of communism in the government and declares martial law for the first time since the military coup of 1979. He says the step is critical for defending South Korea's constitutional order. His parliament clearly not seeing it that way. Yoon is accusing his political opponents of sympathizing with North Korea, saying they paralyzed the government with anti-state activities. But the National Assembly firing back, voting to demand the president lift the martial law declaration.
Let's pause for a minute. Now, if the president does something this drastic that causes international attention, and it could potentially inflame tensions between North and South Korea, if he does something like that and he has no support, then my next question would be, okay, how long until he gets removed from office? I mean, what else are you going to do in this situation?
For more, let's bring in Joo-hee Cho. She's in Seoul. Also, our foreign correspondent, Britt Clennett, joins us. Joo-hee, let's start with you. How are things on the ground right now?
You see the parliament right behind me. There are a lot of supporters, especially the opposition party supporters, right now demanding the president to step down. They're calling it an abuse of power. They're saying that this was entirely illegal because this all came out of the blue. No one expected this. And we just heard through the news that even his close aides did not even know that he was going to declare martial law. So it's looking quite serious right now.
But why do that? That's what I want to know. Why do that? You have no support from Parliament. You would think of something that was so drastic and so serious and so sensitive to the nation's security that you would have some allies in the fight, but you don't. So I don't know what's going on with this. It's pretty strange.
See what happens in the morning.
All right. So, Britt, the president, who's widely unpopular, already facing impeachment. What do you think led up to this decision to declare martial law?
Well, it's looking like it is a political move, despite him characterizing this as kind of, these North Korean influences within the legislature. The Democratic Party, it does have North Korean sympathizers, but it just doesn't go this far as he's projecting it to be. As Joo-hee says, this was a hugely surprising, stunning move in South Korea. Many of the South Koreans I've spoken to say, they just didn't expect this. This is a 30-year robust democracy, a beacon of democracy in Asia, in the region. Many other Asian countries look up to South Korea as a democracy and their democratic traditions that they've been able to build. But Yoon, he's a lame duck president. He hasn't been able to push through the bills that he's wanted to. He's been met with resistance from the opposition. So yes, it does seem like although he's using this guise of North Korean infiltration, it certainly looks and sounds like it's a deeply political move by Yoon.
So, Joo-hee, as we know, the parliament voted to reject the martial law. What do you think is going to happen next?
That's a good question. Like, what's going to be next? Because I'm thinking, okay, you got to go. You got to step down. It was unanimous, 190-0. No support in Parliament for what the president of South Korea did. So the next step would be you got to get up out of here. That's what I would think. Well, and
right
then
now
again,
they're waiting for the president.
They said he was a lame duck, so I get it. So he's going to be done anyway. So it's not like they can just kick him out because he's already finished.
To admit that the martial law is no longer effective. I'm seeing reports, I don't know if this is fake news or not, but I'm seeing reports that there are military soldiers who are trying to arrest the opposition party leader. We'll have to fact check that right now. But I did see video of military soldiers trying to break into the window of the National Assembly building.
Wow. All right. So, Britt, I mean, just listening to what is happening there on the ground, and even Joo-hee, not sure if she can confirm exactly what she is hearing or seeing. President Yoon is still doubling down and partially blaming North Korea for all of this unrest. But is there any evidence for that? And
you know what I'm feeling right now? Like something just kind of came to me, a little bit of just, sixth sense. I'm thinking maybe they might want to reunify. That might be kind of what's going on behind the scenes. Some talk of reunification that could go on. And for the people of North Korea, they need it. But I don't think China and Russia would like North Korea to reunify with South Korea because it's a border in between the U.S. controlled and backed South Korea and Russia, China. It's two different worlds that really shouldn't collide. So North Korea is seen as a buffer zone between the two. So they'd rather North Korea be independent and struggling the way they are than to be part of South Korea because that American influence would be right on the border of China and Russia. And China and Russia doesn't want that.
Could this just increase tensions on all fronts?
Well, I think that has been the concern, a fear of escalation among South Koreans and in the region, which is watching this very, very closely. And of course, we know that the United States, the State Department, is watching this closely too. What we do know is that, the North Koreans, for their part, don't actually necessarily have the capabilities to infiltrate, to use this level of intelligence to figure out what's going on. They will probably spin this in a propaganda way. But certainly the hope is now that there has been this push to ban this martial law, that Yoon will decide that enough is enough and pull out of this.
All right, so there we go. That's what's happening out there in South Korea. Again, the president, Yoon Suk-yeol, declared martial law on his own, apparently, because Parliament came and said, nah, we're not going to do that. In a 190-0 vote, they've rejected the martial law order. So I guess it wasn't in effect for a while, but it is over right now. Now, as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to everybody out there in South Korea and North Korea. Hopefully you guys have peace. Hopefully we don't have any Rocket Man activities, nothing crazy from the South. Hopefully everything's good over there. And I also hope that Americans don't really get too involved. We're already over there anyway in Korea because that's part of the deal after the war. We're already over there anyway, so let's not ramp that up and make it be a thing, because that's one thing we don't need is yet another world conflict on this planet. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about what's happening here? Why do you think there was a martial law order declared from the president that was not backed up at all by Parliament? And again, the allegation, I guess, from the president is that there were North Korean sympathizers working with the other side, making them more vulnerable to the enemy. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I mean, this is a thing that is not necessarily too surprising because those states right there, it should just be one place. It should be just Korea. But you got foreign intervention and wars and all types of other stuff. You got different world powers. You kind of caught in a tug of war in between them. I think they should be left alone. We shouldn't be over there as Americans, no Russians, no Chinese. Let them do what they want to do. But letting them do what they want to do is going to impact the interests of all the major parties involved, unfortunately. So I don't know what they're going to do, but they better do something. And whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that is all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.